Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Produce Moms Podcast, and my name is Lori Taylor. I'm the founder of the Produce Moms, and I love hosting this show. And one of my favorite things about our podcast is when we get to bring on a fellow founder to talk about their entrepreneurial journey and the amazing product that they have created through it's always rooted in passion. I mean, that is the common thread amongst all founders and entrepreneurs is we have this crazy burning passion and we won't stop until it comes to market and comes to life the way we've always envisioned. So today we are welcoming a phenomenal woman, Michelle Huff. She is the founder and CEO of Bare Beans. You can learn more about Bare Beans by visiting barebeans.com. You all are going to love Michelle. You're going to love her story. You're going to love this product. I recently found out about it through our mutual partners at Wada Farms. Wada Farms introduced me and everyone at the Produce Moms to this product line, Bare Beans. And they said, hey, we think you're really going to like it. We're a big fan of it here at Wada Farms. And we're going to learn a little bit more in today's show about how Michelle and the team at Bare Beans is working with all the wonderful people at Wada Farms. And hey, partnerships make the world go round. So with that, I'm very excited to bring on Michelle Huff, the founder and CEO of Bare Beans. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to do this.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here. This is going to be a great show. I love your product. Eric back at Wada Farms sent me and everyone at TPM some samples. I know that you're aware of this. I'm not sure if everyone who's listening to the show today knows this, but he sent them to me and I immediately fell in love with what you got. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what this product is to kick off the show. But everyone with us, I got these samples. They're these gorgeous pouch bags with just naked beans ready to eat. So they're all natural. There's no added salt. And they are just the most delicious beans. I feel like if I were to cook them at home, take the dried beans and make that, they would taste like this, but probably even better because in light of all of the, ready to eat beans that are available out there through canned foods, for instance, I'm not someone who cooks a lot of beans at home, but I love them. And as we all try to embrace this lifestyle of eating more plants and finding more plant proteins in our diet, this product, Bare Beans, can be a real solution for so many people. But the minute I got these, first of all, the first thing I did was made a salad and put them on there. And I used the garbanzo beans. And then the next thing I did is I called Eric back and I was like, can I take these with me to the morning show tomorrow and put them on air and make a beautiful salad because they are delicious. And I was like, is it in market or is this you just want my opinion on it? I'm a natural ambassador for what you got going on here, Michelle. I believe in what you've created in a very big way. I obviously fangirled very early. They immediately found their way right into my morning show spot, but let's talk. I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us your story. What led you to Bare Beans? But please, the mic is yours for intros.
Okay, great. I have been in the fresh produce industry since 2004. I've been in the fresh potato and onion side of it. We're based in Idaho, so obviously that was a natural fit for me to fall into that. But through my journey, through my fresh produce career, I kept hearing the term value added. And my husband farms, and one of the things that we grow is beans. And I just kept thinking, what does my husband grow that I can add value to, that is innovative, hasn't been done before, checked all the boxes of an actual marketable product. And the dried beans came to mind. So I actually started working on this around 2011, 12, mulling around the idea, trying to figure out how to get what I liked about beans and what I didn't like about beans. And that's how the product evolved. I just had to break it down. I love scratch made beans. I love the taste, the flavor profile. I love that I can season them any way that I want, that there's not a lot of added salt or color additives, firming agents, whatever. But they're kind of a pain in the rear to make if you don't make them properly and soak them overnight and prepare. And, as a busy mom, working mom, and, I got teenage boys and sports and I'm running here and there, it just always didn't fit into the picture of making a scratch made beans. They just weren't, sometimes it's an afterthought.
I mean, you got that right. I think that's one reason I loved your product so much. I was like, they taste better than canned beans, and they're a heck of a lot quicker than cooking them on my own. And so often when I cook them on my own, they just get like mushy or undercooked or whatever. But yeah, carry on. I mean, you are speaking my love language right now, Michelle.
So the alternative, if you don't have the time or you didn't think about preparing dried beans the right way, is the can. And typically the can is full of sodium and just things you can't even pronounce on the label. And they've got a little bit of a tinny taste to me, and that's just my personal preference. I'm not trying to, dissuade anybody from using canned beans if that's your thing, but I just personally just never really cared for them. But that was what my only two options: dried beans, the time-consuming part of it, or convenient canned beans. And I just never really liked how they tasted and the texture. They're always a little bit overcooked and mushy, and just the overall taste. So that's where I came up with Bare Beans. Bare Beans is, like the label says, it's a completely naked bean that we've got two ingredients: beans and water. So it's a fully cooked, ready to eat bean in a nice, convenient pouch. And they're bare because, like I said, there aren't any added ingredients. But there's also no liquid. So when you tear open the pouch, you can pour the beans out and add them to a salad, or you can pop them in your mouth and snack on them. You can do whatever you want, or add them to a recipe. So that's the whole concept behind Bare Beans. And we've got 4 varieties: black, garbanzo, red, and pinto. Future development, we're going to, add some more varieties and
Sure.
maybe some mixes with some other veggies. That's down the line, but for the initial rollout, the 4 varieties.
And those have to be the top 4 varieties that people are familiar with and where the consumer demands lie. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it too is that my husband grows these, so this is our product. And
there you go. That was my next question. Now, are you guys growing all these different? Okay, that's really cool. And so,
yes.
So is Bare Beans then a vertically integrated company? Is 100% of the beans that you utilize, are those 100% sourced from your family farm?
Yes, as of right now. But if we grow and we need to source, we plan on using small local farmers in our area and making sure that we're utilizing our resources in this area and sourcing the best possible beans. And it all depends on how fast or where the trajectory takes us in this company. But that's our plan.
That's amazing. And you are so right with your opening remarks regarding value added. That is it's probably like, I don't know, everyone, like when you're sitting around and you're making a joke with friends and you're like, everyone take a shot when someone says value added. Everyone in the produce industry would be drunk. Okay.
You got that right.
It's like the number one buzzword, that sustainability. I guess right now supply chain, but it is truly one of those. It's one of those immediate words where when the minute you get involved with the produce industry, you're going to hear it over and over and over again. And I think Michelle did a really nice job of explaining what that concept is. It means we're taking basically commodities, whether it's a specific fruit or vegetable commodity or a commodity such as beans, and we're turning it in, we're using innovation, product innovation, packaging innovation, some sort of meal kit solution type thing, where we are making it a more convenient and readily accessible choice for consumers, and also in turn creating brands within the produce department. So it's that,
right.
I mean,
like the baby carrot is a great example of a value-added product.
Absolutely.
Just everybody knows what a baby carrot is, and they're everywhere.
Yeah. And
so,
you know what, that might have been one of the very first too. I mean, one of the first,
I think you're right.
value-added innovations that proved to folks and proved our industry value-added is the future, because look at what that did for the carrot category. Whoa. It's
right.
It's a staple on probably everyone who's listening to this broadcast right now is like, yep, I buy those at a minimum, monthly, but if not weekly,
Every single sports mom has bought these for the team.
Oh yeah.
As a snack. So yeah. So, and that's the cool thing about my product too, is I'm hoping, that maybe this might evolve into a snack too, that moms can bring to sporting events or whatever for their kids, and just a healthy protein packed snack that they can use while out there. And also I forgot to mention that our product is also going to be marketed in the produce section. That's the difference between our beans and canned beans and
dry beans,
even dried beans, is that this is going to be marketed in the produce section. It is a refrigerated product. It is perishable. It's a fresh take on beans.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. And when you tout that you have two ingredients, beans and water, I think everyone agrees that's pretty daggone fresh, Let's talk about the shelf life, because the samples I got, Michelle, that Eric Beck sent me, I felt like they had a pretty long shelf life when he sent them to me. I ate them all, so I don't remember what. I can't go look at a package real quick because I ate them all, but
yeah. Our retail package has a 45-day shelf life from the date that we pack it. So we'll have a use or freeze by date on the package, and they freeze wonderfully too. So if you're not going to use them within that time frame, pop them in your freezer, take them out when you're ready to use them, and thaw them out in the refrigerator like you would meat. That's frozen. Just let it a slow thaw in the refrigerator is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about how the partnership with Wada Farms and how that came about, and how that kind of changes things for an entrepreneur like yourself.
So I've known the guys at Wada Farms for a long time, being in the produce industry, with potatoes, obviously in Idaho. And so, obviously when I left my former company, I stayed in touch with a lot of people in the industry, and I have a good friend there that I talk to and I bounce ideas off of. And, once I told him about this idea, he's like, this is great. And we just started talking with Wada, and it was a natural fit for both of our companies. We're, right down the road from each other, and we just have a marketing, we just have marketing opportunities on some products, and we're also working on some future product development too.
Yeah, it's really important too. And for people that are listening, so Michelle, how long did you work on this innovation? How long did you work on creating Bare Beans?
So the idea first started marinating around 2010, 2011. And then I actually went full steam ahead the summer of July 2018. And that's when I started doing all of my product and marketing research of whether this was actually going to be a viable product.
Sure.
Because up to that point, it was just an idea. And then I had to go and find the proper, team to help me do this. And luckily in my area, I found some great resources as far as, equipment, the food safety aspect, all of it. And we just got done building. So now at 2021, we just completed construction on a new facility that we're going to be processing the beans in. And so that's the point we're at right now. And we launched food service first.
Mm-hmm.
And because that was my background, was food service. And so I had some relationships there, and I was lucky enough to get my product into the food service arena, get some valuable feedback.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that from a food service point of view, this is far preferred over tin cans or soaking and cooking your own beans.
Right. The only setback we had, of course, was COVID last year. That really stopped the food service part of it dead in its tracks, but it's picked back up. We're out there. I've got one customer that uses our beans religiously in their hummus. They love it, our garbanzo beans, and just it's amazing to see the following, I guess, that we've created up to this point, and we can't wait to see where it goes as well. Yeah. But I mean, it's been a lot of work, and the research and development part of it took the longest, just to get the product to be safe, right, and B, marketable as well. So that takes a lot of time, and it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
still working on things, still trying to perfect things. It's an ongoing process. Yeah,
you're right. There is no finish line. And when it comes to, value added and creating a product that where you are fostering this brand love, it doesn't just stop. I mean, your flagship products will always be there, but you're going to continue to evolve and improve for sure. Okay. So this is a farmer-owned brand, grown in Idaho, cooked in Idaho, packaged in Idaho. Everything's happening right there in Idaho. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I want to also call out, I mean, Bare Beans is a woman-owned business, and it's a Native American-owned business.
Yeah, I am an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa out of North Dakota. And I'm proud of my heritage, and just I want to honor my grandparents. Just make everyone proud.
Yeah. Well, I love that you included it on the packaging. And that was one of my first pieces of feedback to Eric right after I said, these are so good, I want to put them on the morning show tomorrow. Also, I love this. And I sent the screenshot from the backside of the package that I think says woman owned, Native American owned. But congratulations, Michelle, on this. This is extremely exciting, extraordinarily exciting. I think that you are just getting started. Bare Beans is a baby of a company. I mean, but let's talk about, so if you can share, I understand if this is proprietary and you don't want to share, but if you can share, I'd love to know how you actually take the beans from, are they dried? Are you using them? I mean, I don't even understand. I guess I don't even quite understand the agricultural process from raising beans. So you have them in the ground. Right. Can you walk us through that journey and how they go from the field to your bag?
Yeah, of course. We plant in the spring, harvest in the fall. And when we're ready to harvest the beans, we dry the plant out. Basically, we stop irrigating the plant. And the bean plant, they grow in pods. I should say the black pinto and the red beans grow in a pod, like a pea pod.
Okay.
And so if you look at a dried bean plant in the fall, it looks like a dried pea pod, and there's beans inside of it.
Okay.
A garbanzo bean's a little bit different. It almost looks like a little bit of a flower pod, and each garbanzo bean's in its own little pod. It's not in a...
They're kind of a little bougie out of the beans. I mean, they got two names, chickpeas, garbanzo beans. Like I'm not surprised to hear this.
Yeah. So, so they're a little bit different, but basically the same concept. The plant dries out. When we're ready to harvest, when that plant is dry, and we check the moisture content of the beans and make sure that they're ready to harvest. Because if you harvest when they're too soft or have a higher moisture content, they don't store well. So you got to do it it's a timing thing. Like everything in farming, it's timing. Sure. You harvest when they're ready, and when Mother Nature tells you it's time.
That's right.
So we harvest.
Your calendar as the farmer, it's not in charge.
So true. So true. Anyways, so we harvest the dried beans out of the field in like a great big combine. It's a special bean combine, but harvest them out of the field. We take them to a local bean cleaning and milling facility. So the beans go through a process where they go through a milling process where they kind of size them, pop out any foreign materials, plant matter, rocks, whatever is in that initial harvest. And then we bring them in. So then they're stored in like bean boxes, bring the bean boxes to our facility. We put them through another eye where we, go through one more process to make sure that there's absolutely nothing in there that can harm, anybody. If you look at a dried bean bag, it actually says on the label, this is a natural agricultural product. Please sort your product to make sure, So since this is a cooked, ready to eat product, we got to make absolutely sure that there's nothing left in that batch that we're going to process. So we put it through another eye. We soak them overnight like you would homemade beans.
Yep.
Then they go in a great big kettle and we kettle cook them like you would beans. We are simulating the home cooked process as much as possible.
Yeah, this sounds very normal. Okay. And also just like very classic. Like this is the way beans have been prepared for literally decades. This is
how you get the great flavor. So then we drain them, package them in our packaging machines, and they go through another process for food safety. And then we package them in the boxes and put them in our cooler, and off they go down the road to retailers and food service companies. So, I mean, it's not, there's a few proprietary things that we do, but for the most part, it's kind of classic old school cooking.
Yeah, it's like a classic heritage, old school way of preparing the beans. Like the way it was meant to be, the way they were meant to be prepared, the way your grandma's prepared them, the way everyone's prepared them. I love it.
And that's kind of our tagline too, is like, we like to say it's scratch made quality with more convenience than a can.
Yep. And I agree with that. And they are delicious. So, Michelle, let's talk a little bit too about, so everything you're doing is in Idaho, and Idaho is certainly known for potatoes. Is Idaho also known for beans from an agricultural point of view?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
I believe Idaho might be third or fourth. I'll have to check.
Top 5 isn't bad. Later, but top 5 out of 50.
Top 5 in the nation.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
For dried bean production. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know. So an iconic agricultural product from the state of Idaho, and a woman-owned business, Native American-owned business. And beyond all of those wonderful accolades and reasons why you should love the product, it tastes really good, which I think is the number one decision-making factor when we're choosing what food we're going to buy and eat. So Michelle, this is really exciting. I mean, people can find more at barebeans.com. I feel like you are just at the tipping point with this product line. I mean, they undoubtedly have to be, expanding in terms of where folks can buy them throughout the nation. But anything you want to call out about where people can go to learn more, or what you want our guests with us today to know about your product?
As far as food service, if you contact your local food service company, you should be able they should be able to locate us and get the product from us. Retail, we're just launching that, and we will have information on our website of what retail stores carry us very soon.
That's exciting. And that is definitely something that your partnership with Wada Farms will undoubtedly help accelerate, because they just have such strong retailer relationships. But I am excited to buy Bare Beans in my produce departments. And for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, when you evaluate from a nutrition or even from an agricultural perspective, the beans and the legumes, they fall under produce. When we talk about the different sectors of ag,
They're technically a vegetable. They're actually the only food that's technically a protein and a vegetable on the My Plate
Okay.
diagram.
Yeah.
They're the only thing that falls into both categories.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. So fun fact, everyone, there you go. There's your little buzzword fun fact. They are both. I know that they're so good for you. Now I have to ask you, Michelle, undoubtedly with all this innovation from idea to concept to product is now in market. You've obviously done your fair share of experimentation. What's one of your favorite ways to use bare beans?
So I love to make, I originally grew up in Minnesota. And so we have, you're familiar with the casserole, but in Minnesota, we call it a hot dish.
Hot dish. Yes. I mean, I grew up in Indiana, but one of my very best friends from college grew up in Minnesota, and she called everything I felt like everything in her mind was hot dish. And it was just like her way of feeling like she was back at home. But okay. Yes. Love it. Okay. Hot dish.
So a hot dish can have anything in it. And it basically, I think, evolved from people cleaning out their fridge. Like, oh, I have some leftover hamburger meat. Oh, I have some leftover this, and throwing it in a casserole dish with a can of cream of mushroom soup and calling it hot dish. But I make, it's sort of like a taco hot dish. So, okay. I take some ground beef and season it with taco seasoning, and then add black beans, and I also add pinto beans, and then I put in like chopped fresh tomatoes and chopped onions and kind of whatever you got in your fridge too. And then if you top it off at the end with some something with some crunch, like a tortilla chip on the top, like just kind of crumble some tortilla chips on the top, and you can add sour cream, salsa, whatever you want to it. It's almost like a taco bake, if you want to call it that, but I call it taco hot dish.
I love it. That's great. And it sounds delicious. So that's good. I was also thinking as I was enjoying my black bean samples, I was like, oh my gosh, this would absolutely make the real veggie burger more accessible to folks, and taste
right.
Like there is nothing. I absolutely I'm kind of a Midwest carnivore. Everyone knows that who knows me. Like I love to go out for steak and obviously give me all the veggie sides, but I don't eat plant-based all the time. There are days where I do. So I'm like flexitarian, so to say, but one of my favorite things to eat is a really good black bean burger, like a really I should have experimented with it, but of course I just kept popping, like I was snacking on your samples that I got, and I was adding them to salads, and I put some in tacos. I never actually cooked with them. They just didn't last that long. So I'll have to get some more, hopefully buy them at retail here in the Midwest soon. But I have to imagine that these products are great for like black bean burgers. You mentioned the hummus, refried beans made with the pinto beans, chili, like you would actually taste the beans in your chili using those red beans.
And if you put them in your crock pot, like in the early morning hours, when you get home later, they are still firm and they still have a bite to them. So we make them al dente so that they hold their structure and their firmness, even if you're cooking them all day long in a crock pot, for example. So they're a different texture than you're going to find in a canned bean, but it's a better texture. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, you've got a stellar product. The packaging also just, the design, the aesthetic, the color schemes that represent your product on shelf, it pops. This is going to be a product, folks, when you see it, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and once it's stocked on shelf, you will find it because it does pop on shelf. But look for bare beans. They are coming soon to grocery stores coast to coast. We are at the point now where you can start requesting them from your grocery store. And Michelle, with that, I want to give you the chance for any closing remarks, final goodbyes. I must say that this is the first time in my life I've talked for a half hour straight about beans. But I've so enjoyed our conversation. This has been such a wonderful episode. And I really believe in what you've got here. We look forward to supporting it at the Produce Moms and hats off to the team at Wada Farms for seeing this as a great opportunity as well. But Michelle, with that, I'd like to invite you for any closing remarks and the final goodbye. That's our podcast tradition. You get the mic for the last part of the show, but thank you for being here.
My final thoughts are just try to buy, USA grown products and support our local farmers more than anything. That's where this all, stemmed from, is trying to just bring some more, value back to our farm. And if we keep innovating and finding new products that utilize our farms right in our own country, I think we're going to be better off nutritionally and health-wise.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to Lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.